Maxine Waters, my hair was all black until the first time I saw her, and it started to go gray up there on Capitol Hill. But, she's the same person that also said Trump's going to start a nuclear war with North Korea. Yeah. It is always, anytime the Republicans or Donald Trump comes up with something, now the big, beautiful bill is going to kill hundreds of people, millions of people. The only thing that has killed hundreds of millions of people in this world is socialism, progressivism, communism, Marxism. We can go back and look at that. And furthermore, the only political party that started a civil war in the United States of America was the Democrat Party. Maybe she needs to do a little history study. So if we come back and look at who they are and what they stand for, they're trying to push us to this brink because everything about them is about totalitarianism, it's about power, it's about control, and they'll be damned if anyone can stand in their way. Donald Trump is their number one nemesis.
No, I want to push back a little bit.
Okay.
I know it's contentious to argue who started the Civil War, but I think there is an interesting parallel to today with what Democrats did. And the Democrats in 1861, before Lincoln got into power, I think it was 7 states seceded from the Union, basically said, you will not stop us from doing bad things. And Abraham Lincoln said, I'm not going to let you do this, and went to the South. I know you're going to get a historical debate over who started it, but it was Fort Sumter.
Yeah.
Union refused to leave. The South was saying it's our it's our land. You got to get out. The Union said it's our base. We built it. But Abraham Lincoln decided to send in the troops and shut down what he was calling the Southern Rebellion and keep the Union together. He did a lot of things that people would deem to be tyrannical.
You mean like maybe how today they're trying to say that what Donald Trump is doing is tyrannical?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They say that they have the authority to do whatever they want. No one can stop them. And Abraham Lincoln is heralded for suspending habeas corpus from Pennsylvania to D.C. to create a security corridor for the Union to stop them from trying to secede. And what was the purpose of seceding? Because they wanted to maintain slavery, largely. And they enshrined it in the Southern Constitution. Donald Trump today is saying, I will not let you destroy this union through open border policies, through selling out our workforce, through destroying our younger generations, and he's going to use his authorities under the Constitution to do so. So I would argue that
there's a parallel.
Indeed, that's my point.
Yeah, there's a parallel.
The Democrats want to do things that are largely rejected by the majority. Slavery was losing out. Abraham Lincoln said slavery will no longer expand in this nation, and so they said, then we're going to leave, and we're going to do what we want to do. And he's like, no, you're not breaking the Union. There are a lot of people that would argue, and do argue, the South had the right to secede. But I agree with Ulysses S. Grant, who said that we as a union sacrificed blood and treasure to admit you. And that's especially true of Texas. And then they decided abruptly that they were going to leave and not return that debt. Abraham Lincoln said, you're not going to do that. This union will stand. Donald Trump there's the parallel, where Democrats are saying, we want open borders. We want to extract the value, send the money to China, do whatever we want. And Trump is saying, no, we will protect this union however we have to. And now they're screaming that because he's doing it, he's a fascist.
Yeah,
exactly like the Democrats.
And that is that parallel, because today's Democrats, progressives, socialists, whatever, they are trying to implement a philosophy of governance that is antithetical to who we are as a constitutional republic, to our rule of law. They are basically saying we don't care about the rule of law. It's about just one word, our rule. And so what Donald Trump is doing is standing up to that. And as we were discussing, we need more Republicans to stand up and do this. We need more Republicans to find their big boy and big girl pants, in the House and the Senate, or even like you see in the state of Texas, because for too often and for too long, there have been no consequences. There have been no ramifications for all of these things that Democrats, leftists, Marxists, socialists, progressives have been doing.
I'd love to just rag on the libertarians for a minute. TheReason.com libertarians, because, Dave Smith I like, right?
I mean, there's a lot of ragging that the libertarians have earned regardless.
They've earned. I imagine them like political cucks, where they sit back while the Democrats run roughshod over libertarian principles and take their guns and destroy their lives and suspend their rights. And then when Trump is like, we got to put a stop to this, they go, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's going too far, man. And I'm like, ugh.
Libertarians, they love to say things like, I'm principled, et cetera. But if you're principled and your political opponents are not, they will use whatever means necessary to attain political power, and then they're going to use that political power against you. And the libertarians are perfectly fine with losing their rights, having their property rights violated, just so long as they can get on the internet and say, well, I was politically principled and I didn't, violate my libertarian principles. It doesn't matter if your opponents are going to take all your rights away.
If you're so principled to the point where you end up voting with Democrats, I think you should review what your actual impact on power is.
Remember we had the libertarian guy on, and I said, Democrats arrested Donald Trump's lawyers, which is unconstitutional. What should Trump do in response? And the response was nothing. And I'm like, so we just let Democrats continually violate the Constitution, do whatever they want? Yes, because responding would be an escalation. That'd be bad for us. I'm like, so we can live under the boot of communists? Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.